Welcome to Walkabout the Galaxy, the hot take astronomy podcast, where the science is universal, the opinions are personal, and the sponsors don't pay. We are strange, charm, top, and down the astroquarks, also known as Josh Caldwell,
Addie Dove,
Jim Cooney,
and Audrey Martin.
Coming to you from the Walkabout studio at the University of Central Florida, and we're just going to pretend Jim is here too, since we're here and we see him and we hear him. So
it's like he's here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's here with us in spirit.
Follow us on Instagram and anywhere else we may happen to show up, but mainly Instagram, where the facts aren't checked and stories, like our collective memory, only last 24 hours. But they can be liked, so like away and tell your friends to listen to the best podcast. And while they're doing that, they may also want to check out Walkabout the Galaxy. Catch our videos on YouTube. We are at Walkabout the Galaxy. You can email us at wtg@ucf.edu. We have a new kind of stumper today. You remember the flawed stumper.
Love flawed.
Love
Classic.
flawed.
Mm-hmm.
Fly by land, orbit, destroy.
Mhm.
That is the correct order for those letters.
Mm-hmm.
That's been for moons, planets, asteroids, etc. Today you're going to do spaceships. So we don't want to fly by a spaceship.
I mean, that'd be cool too.
That would be cool. But like, if you have a spaceship, you typically don't want to fly by it. There's other things.
That's what you would do. You would wave to the other spaceship.
Okay.
I was waving.
If you guys want to do
Listeners.
flawed with spaceships sometime, we can make that happen. But we're doing a new game we're calling RBD. Rent, buy, or destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mhm.
And your ships are the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, the Milano, and I had to look up the name of it, but that was the first Guardians of the Galaxy's ship, and Firefly is the name of the ship, right, Jim? From the show Firefly and the movie Serenity?
No, it was a Firefly class ship.
Firefly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big fail for me. I'm embarrassed. What's the name of the ship? Is Serenity the name of the ship?
Serenity.
Serenity. As soon as sorry. So Serenity, the Milano, the spaceship, not the Pepperidge Farm cookie.
Mm-hmm.
That's so delicious.
If it was
Also
the Pepperidge
delicious.
Farm
I
cookie,
want to
that'd be
destroy
That would
Pepper
destroy that by
Destroy
putting it in
the
my
cookie.
mouth.
Yeah.
So it's the spaceship, not the cookie, or the Millennium Falcon. Okay, we'll start with Jim
I
since he's
will
right in front of me.
destroy the one from the Marvel universe because I enjoyed that movie, but who cares? It's
Okay.
not that good.
Destroy the Milano.
I'm buying the Millennium Falcon, and
Really?
even though I
Color-
enjoy Firefly Serenity more, the child in me, I think the ship, the Millennium Falcon, is badass.
Yeah.
And
Why?
the ship,
what-
Serenity, is just a...
What's badass about
We don't
the
know how
Millennium
long. We don't know how
Falcon?
long it would take the Serenity to
What?
do the Kessel Run.
Yeah,
Right? How many parsecs could it do the
Parsecs.
Kessel Run in?
that's right. I don't know. The Millennium Falcon is awesome. I don't know.
I mean,
my fave.
I like the exterior design of the Millennium Falcon, but like inside,
Inside, it's similar.
It's like a
It's like
cargo
it's just like it's a ship for, what do you call those guys? I don't know.
smugglers.
Smugglers. Yeah. So they got a lot of hidden spaces and all that kind of stuff. It seems bigger to me
Than
than the
Firefly?
Serenity, but
Then the
could be
Serenity,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
Audrey.
That's what I'm doing.
Audrey's busily looking up these ships because you never heard of any of them.
No, you gotta do some research.
I heard of the Millennium Falcon. So I'm thinking more on size.
Yeah.
So I would destroy the Milano because I think it's the smallest.
Yeah.
And then rent Serenity because it looks like it's the second biggest. And
Okay.
then
So
buy
size.
the
Buy
Falcon.
the Falcon.
Yeah.
It's all about size for you.
Size matters. I knew
You
that.
know
I
me.
knew
Yeah.
that.
I'm a modern girl in a modern world.
Okay, Addie, does size matter to you?
Yeah, but I don't know. I was trying to remember like what all of the capabilities of all of them are, and I should have done a little bit more research on that.
Well, they all fly around from planet to planet in a reasonable period of time.
Yeah. And they all can like do space travel and be on surfaces.
True.
Oh, that is a
Which
good
is like an
consideration.
interesting-
Serenity does not do interstellar travel, though.
That's true.
Really?
It's just all
No.
in the same solar
It's all
system.
in the same solar
Yeah.
system. All
Really?
all of Firefly takes
Yeah.
place. It's like realistic. It's in
Oh.
a solar system.
Okay.
I should watch that.
Yeah.
You should. It's so good. I think. I mean, yeah. Like I love the show, but that ship is not the most exciting ship. So I think I would destroy the Serenity.
Destroy the Serenity.
Yeah, I think I might rent the Millennium Falcon for like my smuggling runs, but I would buy the Milano.
Yeah. I think that's what I would do too. It's like a sports car.
Yeah.
The Milano is a little bit more sporty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all cooped
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Well, today we'll talk about a potentially habitable exoplanet, accent on the potentially. Some chemistry thing that Audrey insists is interesting.
It's so cool.
A new black hole model.
Ooh.
And much more. But first, this episode of Walkabout the Galaxy is brought to you by Curiosity. If you're wondering what Curiosity can do for you, you're already using it to get ahead.
Wow.
More than just an idle pastime, thank you. Curiosity can take you on a leisurely journey across the Bagnold dunes of Mars to better understand the ancient climate of the red planet. Let Curiosity take your blinders off and broaden your horizons to new perspectives and points of view, whether from the rim of Geddes Vallis or the peak of Aeolus Mons. Let Curiosity be your cure from accepting the ordinary. Curiosity for the benefit of all.
For the benefit of all. Oh.
And I was surprised because we had one that was similar to that recently, and it ended up being something like, I don't know, something like chic. But it wasn't that. Or like, you know.
It was a cruise ship.
Was it I don't know what it was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, something dumb
Goodyear
like IBM.
tires.
Goodyear tires is what Audrey thinks is for the benefit of all.
I don't know.
The Goodyear tire executives were sitting around. It's like, we should have a slogan for our tires.
They do benefit a lot of people.
And they're like, our tires are for the benefit of all.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking.
People do need tires. In this
Trying
day
to
and
think
age.
outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside the bun.
Jim, what do you got? What'd you say?
I don't know. I was going to say IBM. Oh, I'll go with the World Wildlife Fund or some a nonprofit.
A
Oh, a
nonprofit.
nonprofit.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Amazon.
Okay. It's NASA.
What?
That's NASA's
Oh, we all just got
motto
fired.
Oh,
or something like that.
no.
Yeah.
We have to cut this part out. I don't
Curiosity. Curiosity,
for
of
Curiosity,
course.
it
The
makes
Curiosity
sense.
rover.
Okay.
Tootling around Mars still now 13 years roughly after
Oh.
that it's spent on Mars.
Thank you,
Something like that. Or
MMRTG.
13 years since launch, maybe. I don't remember exactly. 2012. Today, let's see. We have a new segment that we're debuting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Downquark. Audrey Martin is going to bring us the first Walkabout hot take.
I don't think this is the first hot take.
It's the
I
first
think
official
it's the
hot
first
take.
official hot take.
The first
'cause we've
official
had
hot-
some hot takes. on
Kind
the
of the whole
show.
show is kind of hot takes.
Mostly
Sure.
hot takes.
It is the Hot Take Astronomy podcast.
Yeah.
What's your official hot take
My
today?
hot take is we should all consider ice to be a mineral.
Oh, you're yeah. Okay.
Ice is a mineral.
Mm-hmm.
By definition, it has a crystal lattice that
This is a science hot take, y'all.
it has a crystal lattice just like minerals do.
So wait a minute. Let me just set this up for you a little bit.
No, we
Hot
we
take.
don't need you to define a hot take for
I'm
us.
not. I just want to give it a better intro. Hot take. Ice is a mineral.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Ice is a mineral.
Okay.
Just because
Yeah, you got to say it dramatically. You gotta
Oh
say
my
it dramatically.
god. Any more notes?
Like,
I know,
like,
right? I
Hot
like these
take.
people are giving the advice to the
Hot
person
take.
who
Well, hang
actually
on-
knows
okay.
what a
Hang
hot
on,
take
Audrey.
is.
Jim, how does hot take go? Because
It goes like this. It goes like, hot take, hot take. Of all of the old timey hobbies out there,
Do better,
the
Jim.
sexiest is stamp collecting. Hot take,
Hot take.
hot take.
I don't think
All
I
right,
can do it.
go,
like
Audrey.
Okay.
that. Hot take. Ice
Is a mineral.
is a mineral. Hot take.
Hot take. Yeah, there you go. Now
Is
I'm
that
excited.
it? That's it. That's
Now I'm
all I have
excited.
to
Now
do.
I
No,
want
you
to
have
argue
to
with
go ahead with your justification, but you have
It
to
is.
bookend it.
Yeah, so ice has a crystal lattice just like minerals do.
Okay.
So it is a mineral just because it exists as a liquid and water can be gas on Earth. We can have all three phases. Doesn't mean it's not a mineral. You can melt rocks.
True.
I
And
do
then
it all the
it's-
time.
There you go.
Right.
And then it's a liquid.
Okay.
Why the discrimination? Why the discrimination against ice
It's
not
a
being
I would
considered
call it a
mineral?
distinction rather than a
Well-
but in any event. So
That's my hot take.
This is a hot.
It's a hot
So
take.
okay, there used to be on Twitter. I don't know if it exists anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
it's on Bluesky now. But it used to be that there was a mineral. What's it called? Mineral Madness.
I can't remember.
It
yeah,
was like
what
a
it
bracket
called.
tournament of
oh,
minerals.
and did ice make it into that?
And ice was
Ice
on it at least
won,
one year, and
I
it
think.
won. It won or was runner up
Like a
one
few
year.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
A few
it
years
won.
ago.
And there's a lot of back and forth.
There
Is
was a
ice
lot
a
of hot
mineral or
takes
not?
about it.
so
It
your
is.
your definition of a
It is.
mineral is any solid that has a crystalline structure.
Any non-man-made solid.
non-man-made solid,
Yeah.
whether it has a crystalline structure or not.
No, that has a crystalline structure. But the non-man-made part is important
Really?
in geology. Yeah, because there's also, this isn't my hot take, but our teeth are made of a mineral very aptly named apatite.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Hilarious.
grows.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
but it
hilarious.
grows
and
in
awesome.
the human body. So
Yes.
is it man-made or not? So the question is, are teeth minerals or not because it's man-made?
Hot take, teeth are minerals.
Hot take. Something growing
take.
in you isn't
Hot take.
the definition of man-made.
That's not my hot take.
What? I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I say the distinction is there because there's something qualitatively different about ice and other minerals, which
There's
is
not.
What is that?
oh, and you know what? I'm gonna eat my words.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just like you eat cubes of ice. Ooh.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Audrey. I
Yeah.
think I'm
I
with you.
think
Yeah.
you've swayed us.
I like your hot take.
Yeah. If
Cold
everybody
take.
agrees with you, though, it's no longer a hot take.
Well, we'll hear from the listeners about their opinions of ice.
Is there space news?
We haven't talked since the blue. Here's a hot take.
Yeah.
So let me set it up because we
You
haven't
got it.
talked
Come on.
since the
Get
Blue
fired up.
Origin human launch.
Right.
Happened.
NS-31.
NS-31 occurred last week.
Mm.
This was the 31st New Shepard launch, but it was like the human launch. I don't remember. They're in the more than 10 now
Yeah, something like 11,
of human.
I think.
It was either 11 or 12
Well,
maybe.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is human. So New Shepard again is the suborbital flight. So it's a smaller rocket, goes up, capsule separates, they come back down. It's like a 15-minute flight total. And these are typically sort of tourist flights right now, although they have done a couple of science flights. And then like our payloads fly in there on flights that are just cargo
Right.
and science. So this flight was an all-female flight crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a number of folks from media and entertainment and science.
Yeah, there's all sorts of like grumbling and,
People got
Social media.
really
People
mad.
got
Social
really upset
media.
about it.
people
Here's the
getting worked
thing.
up.
Here's the thing: they haven't gotten that upset about all the all-male flights that have
That's
happened.
what I was gonna say. Like, sure, you don't
And,
have
like-
to love the commercial space industry, but
Yeah.
like, why specifically this flight? You
Because
get
it
all
was
up in arms about.
All women, and they talked
Yeah.
about they talked about their outfits. Ew, don't do that. And Katy Perry was on there, and she's the worst. Why can't she put her money to more useful things?
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
It's so silly.
It's
Yep.
upsetting. And also, several of the folks who are on the crew are like amazing scientists and engineers who have totally earned a chance to get to do something like this. And it was facilitated by people who had money. And like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Of all of the things that like we get mad at people for doing and for tourism and all of this stuff, like, I was
Yeah.
upset by the backlash.
Yeah, I hear you.
But
Others,
that was exciting. It was
Yep.
it was a beautiful flight. They actually have repainted the rocket and the
I
capsule.
noticed.
I was watching and I texted my friend. I was like, did they repaint it? And I think maybe they did for the previous flight, but at least it was for this one. It had a lot
Yeah.
of press, so maybe that was why. But
Yeah.
I like the paint job now.
Oprah was there. I guess
Oprah was
one
there
of her
because
friends or
Gail
something.
flew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gail.
okay.
her like lifelong
Yeah.
friend.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. Lots of famous people were there.
Okay.
And our friend Todd Smith.
Was
Was
there.
there.
Okay,
'Cause
it's
he
like,
had a
wait a
he
minute.
had a
Todd
payload-
Smith is a woman? I didn't know.
He had a payload flying on the booster on an external
Oh,
payload
cool.
that flew
Oh, that's
along.
Who the
with-
hell is Todd Smith?
He's a colleague of
He's a
ours.
colleague
and
who
I was
works
just
at
like
APL.
confused
Mhm.
about why he was there.
Yeah, he was
But-
doing science.
There was a science thing on the booster.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Cool.
There's I don't know, probably some other space news, but
Okay. So Audrey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put you on the spot again.
Great.
I think you have another hot take. I don't think you think it's a hot take.
I think it's a very
But
fair
you-
take.
Your hot take is this next story is really interesting.
Yeah.
And my hot take is you got to prove it to me.
Okay.
neither
Like
of those are hot
always.
takes.
Oh man. I also apparently don't know.
Josh and I are a little older. We don't seem to understand the hot take.
We-
Here's my.
We're still
anyway,
learning
go.
hot
Well,
takes.
the
We're
energy
learning
is
hot
nice.
take.
Yeah,
We're
we
learning.
like the enthusiasm.
Okay.
So there's a lot of questions about how water got to Earth,
True.
right?
True.
And one of the ways that scientists have explained it is with a period in the early solar system called the late heaven bombardment. late heavy bombardment.
Yeah.
That scattered a whole bunch of very outer solar system, small comets and asteroids inward. And those outer solar system materials had a whole bunch of volatiles on it, like water.
Mm-hmm.
And it scattered them inwards, and then they crashed onto Earth. And then, voila, we have
Lots of water.
lots of water. In that scenario, the water on Earth is kind of like happenstance. Like, that wouldn't necessarily happen if all of the planets were in a certain position and whatever.
If we didn't have whatever happened that produced the late heavy bombardment, which
Yeah.
itself is kind of like the whole history of the early bombardment of the solar system is still somewhat murky.
Yeah.
But there's lots of evidence that seems to suggest there might have been a surge. And in any event, it was definitely much higher
It used to be a lot higher.
4 billion
'Cause
years
there was,
ago
like-
than it is now. The
I mean,
question is sort of like
yeah.
whether it went down and came back up again and then went down.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's not the main point.
Yeah, that's not the main point.
We used to get hit with a lot of stuff for
Right.
a long
A
time.
lot more stuff than we're currently getting hit by.
Right. But now there are some researchers looking at enstatite chondrites, and these are meteorites that come from asteroids that formed in the inner solar system.
Enstatite's what our teeth are made of, right?
Enstatite is not what our teeth are made out
Oh.
of. No, it's a pyroxene. It's a type of silicate. It's all over Earth. We've got it. It's
It's a mineral,
It's a mineral.
It's a mineral.
It
That's
is a
what I was
mineral.
told.
But,
It is
yeah.
a mineral.
Yes.
like
And
teeth.
Just like teeth.
I
Sure.
rest
It's
my
ice,
case.
basically. It is ice.
It's
Okay,
ice.
go ahead.
Right.
So icy chondrite. Just kidding. No. So this mineral condensed out of the solar nebula in very, very hot conditions, and that kind of material is the material that was around when Earth was accreting.
Okay, so it has a
So-
high melting point.
Yeah.
So while the solar nebula was still warm at our location, it was one of the first things to condense into solids.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
And when looking at enstatite chondrites, it doesn't look like they have much volatile content. It doesn't look like they have the types of icy materials that exist on outer solar system comets and planets and all that. But now, re-looking at some of it, there's actually a ton of hydrogen
So how did they miss this the first time around?
because it is in a hydrogen sulfide pairing that is entrapped in glassy silica.
Okay. Glassy
Clathrate?
silica
So
has,
I don't
go ahead,
know.
Jim.
this isn't water. So it is just like hydrogen trapped in other things, and then there's oxygen trapped in other things, and eventually they get together and make water.
Yep.
That's what you're telling me?
Yep.
And there's enough of that hydrogen. So really the water shortage or the water problem has largely been a hydrogen problem.
Yeah, I
Right.
guess so. I learned that when reading the paper.
Right. Okay. Because
Oxygen,
there's all sorts
yeah.
oxygen shows up in all sorts of
Oxygen's
other minerals.
everywhere. The most abundant element on Earth is oxygen.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I'm almost positive. I am
Or maybe not.
85% sure.
In rocks or
In rocks.
on Earth?
In rocks. In the rocks that make up Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Some qualifications there. But okay.
Around Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
But
I
like
mean, I think
is
the
it
most abundant element has to be hydrogen. Anyway.
well, this is the question. So like if the water
By
problem
number or
oxygen.
by mass?
I'm pretty sure it's
Right.
oxygen.
I think it's silicon.
No, it's definitely not silicon.
the most abundant element in the Earth's crust is oxygen. In the Earth's crust, silicon is the second most abundant,
Well, there we go.
in the crust.
and the most abundant element in the human body is oxygen. I think it's oxygen.
Wow.
No one believes me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we had a hydrogen problem.
Yeah, we had a hydrogen problem, and we didn't think there would be enough. We needed this other source from the outer solar system, but it turns out these enstatite chondrites actually have enough for, I think, let me double check, for 14 times the mass of the oceans. The
Okay.
hydrogen that we have
Hydrogen
in the oceans.
There's
enough for 14 times that.
an oodles worth of hydrogen. Only a tiny fraction of it needs to hook up with oxygens.
Yeah.
And in order to make the water that we've got on Earth.
Yeah. And the
You know what?
the cool thing about that.
You know what? It is cool.
Yay!
Yes!
Good.
Yeah,
All right.
it's so cool. It means that like
You
the
sold
water
me.
that we have on Earth isn't like we don't need to have the late heavy bombardment. We don't need to have icy material
Comets
from the outer
coming
solar system
in
coming
and all
in.
that stuff.
The material was already here, so it's very
Interesting.
possible in other systems that
There's
with the
enough
same
water.
material, you can get this like a very liquidy water type of planet.
Terrestrial planet with
Yeah.
some water. You just need to have some cooking going on
Mhm.
afterwards so that those
Yeah.
oxygens and hydrogen get together. But they
Yeah.
want to get together.
Yeah.
They love
really
to get
do.
together.
They
They-
like to get
Hydrogen and
together.
oxygen love each other.
It's
Aw.
embarrassing.
It is like get a room already.
Yeah. Oh.
They did it. It's called Earth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
Okay, you did do it. Yeah.
That was interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You're
They
both
sound
of you
so
are like, Yeah,
surprised.
it's a little offensive,
Well,
but
it's
also
not,
it's okay.
No, I mean, you should not be offended. It's my amateurish reading of part of the paper and being too stupid to understand the implications is why I was not sold on. But you
Okay.
did a beautiful job
I feel
of
better now.
explaining
Well done.
why it
Yourself,
was
stupid.
interesting and important. And we already know I'm an idiot because I don't know what a hot take is or the name of Firefly, any of that stuff. Okay, good.
Cool.
Sweet.
Do you want to talk about, since we're talking about atoms and molecules and stuff and
Mhm.
planets,
Yeah.
we should talk about this exoplanet's been getting a lot of press
There's been a
for
lot
the
of
last
press.
couple of days.
Mhm.
Measurements from JWST of molecules in the atmosphere of an exoplanet that suggest a potentially habitable environment.
Yeah.
Not just habitable, habited.
Habited.
So is this kind of like, is this going to be like the phosphine on Venus thing?
Kind of. Yeah.
No, no,
No,
Oh.
Jim?
no.
Do you
What's
do
your
you
hot
know
take
about
on
the-
this one?
Hot take! Hot take! There's life all over that planet. He's crawling with bugs.
All right. That's Jim's hot take on this
Hot
planet.
take.
What's the
I
planet?
don't know.
Sorry, K218b.
Okay.
K2-18b is the planet. I was reading about I was trying to remember the name of the molecules instead of just the
Dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl
Dimethyl
disulfide.
and dimethyl disulfide.
And these are molecules that primarily have a biogenic
On
origin.
Earth, they're almost entirely produced
by
biologically
bacteria or
by phytoplankton stuff in the oceans. So the oceans, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people have thought of models of ways to do it
without.
biologically, but it's not easy. It's whereas it's pretty easy to do biologically. So
That's by
So-
itself seems interesting.
But it's one of those
Yeah.
things, but it is kind of like phosphine on Venus, and that it's like we're detecting. So this is using JWST to look at, and the JWST MIRI instrument, which is the mid-infrared instrument, to look at spectra of these extrasolar planets, and then infer from the spectrum like what some of these lines might be. And so they find that dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, DMS and DMDS, like
Isn't that banned?
yeah, I know, right? Can potentially cause the signatures that they see in the atmosphere. But they need, like with Venus, more observations to like make sure these observations are robust.
Okay, so it's a
And these
marginal.
conclusions are robust.
But I had thought that they said this a year or two ago, right? But they said it with fairly low confidence. And I thought that this most recent thing was they're saying it with significantly more, not 5 sigma, not like 99.9999, but still like 2 or 3 sigma. It's not. They have made it.
They
more
have a
robust over the past
detection of
couple years.
something like there's a line or set of lines, and the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
candidate for that are these dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide molecules. And then
That's what
our
Yeah.
most common for our, geocentric perspective, if we see that stuff, we're like, oh, plankton. Cool.
Yeah.
And
That's
you know what
wild.
eats plankton?
Humans.
Fish.
Whales.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
So
Well,
there's
I don't know.
whale.
A lot
the
of things eat plankton.
Yeah, but whales is the most interesting thing that
Okay.
eats them. Therefore, there are whales on K218b.
Absolutely,
big is
100%,
K2
100% whales.
Is K218b the planet from Star Trek 4?
That's maybe where those, we don't know where
Where
those whales came
the
from,
humpback
but
whales are?
maybe, oh my gosh,
You're welcome.
hot take.
Whoa.
You're
The
welcome.
whale ship and the for the humpbacks came from K218b. This has been now discovered by James Webb Space Telescope.
That's why I don't get it.
Yeah, poor Audrey.
That's actually one of the best movies. That's a hot take.
Is it a hot take? Because I think that's a
some
pretty
people
popular
disagree
movie.
with that, right?
I think
okay.
Star Trek 4 and First Contact are
Okay.
like the most appreciated.
Is that the one with Sarah Silverman?
No.
Sarah
Star Trek
Silverman.
2 is the one that everybody likes the best.
She's in a.
What?
Wrath of Khan?
No.
That is absolutely the most popular Star Trek
No.
movie by a huge margin.
No.
Hot take.
No.
Hot take. No, it's not a hot take. That's a fact.
No. First Contact is the most popular one.
I think you're starting to get it.
Here's your trivia.
All right.
Modern telescopes, such as JWST, are reflector telescopes. They collect light with a mirror or collection of mirrors, and then they focus that light on another mirror usually, and then that mirror sends it maybe even to a third mirror, which sends it to an instrument. So we kind of characterize those telescopes by the diameter of the mirrors, how much collecting area they have. But if you think of old-timey telescopes, like if Jim is doing his old-timey stamp collecting,
Sexy old.
and he's
The most
collecting.
sensual of the hobbies.
Oh, it's sensual now, not just sexy. Wow.
That's right. That's right.
because sensual and sexy are two very different things.
They are.
And it's both. It's both, my friend. All right, go ahead.
It can be both.
Hot
It
take.
can be both. It can be both. So stamp collecting is both sexy and sensual.
Good to know.
In that old-timey world, we had refractor telescopes were
Okay.
more common, which use a lens.
I
that
assume
allows-
stamps existed before telescopes.
Stamps, probably. How far back do stamps go, Jim?
1840.
Are you
which is
kidding
much
me?
more
Really?
recent than- yeah, 1840 are the first stamps.
What did
and
they do
obviously
before that?
They
They
didn't send
collected the money.
email.
At the end.
Oh, that's true.
If
You
you-
just
if you
had
got a letter,
yeah,
you
yeah,
had to
you
pay
just had to
somebody
pay
for
for
it.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yelled
The letter is
really
held
loud.
hostage. Yeah. So Galileo's telescope, right? It's a tube with a couple of lenses, basically,
Yeah.
magnifying glass style. So the question is, so those are longer, skinnier devices. What are the dimensions of the largest refracting telescope ever built and the largest refracting telescope currently in use? So we're looking for what's the diameter of the glass lens?
Yeah.
How big is your
I
magnifying
think I know
glass?
where it was
And
made.
how long? That'll give you some bonus points for that. And how long is the tube, basically, for the biggest one ever built and the biggest one currently in use?
Okay.
Just
Right.
the diameter. We don't need to know length.
I just said
Also,
the
length.
diameter and the length. Size
So
matters.
Just the length.
Got it.
Yeah, so we'll come back to
Really?
that. But first, Jim's going to give us a hot take on a new black hole model.
Hot take. The Taylor Swift album, Lover,
Jim
was written about me. Hot take. Hot take.
Jim,
Okay, no,
Jim just discovered the phrase "hot take" heard it for the first time in his life 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Josh is saying this like he knew about it before. Josh heard about it 48 hours ago.
Yeah, that's before.
Yeah.
I don't think hot takes are
Yeah.
even like hip anymore.
Oh, they're hip.
Really?
We're going to make
We're
them hip.
bringing them
We're
back.
gonna bring them back.
They're hip now.
Yeah.
If you've listened to this episode,
I think the people that listen to this podcast are not hip either, so it doesn't matter what.
Whoa, we are going to edit that
No.
out, James.
listen,
Disc.
Walkabout the Galaxy fans,
I didn't mean that in a bad
Devotees.
way. In a-
Hot
Walkers.
take. Jim's a jerk.
hot take. Jim
no,
doesn't know,
no, I didn't mean that in a
Jim
bad
doesn't
way.
know what he's talking about. Hot take.
All right, black holes.
Black holes. Yeah, let's talk about something Jim knows about now.
Right.
Black holes. So you know one of the frustrating things about black holes in general
You just
relativity
can't see
is
'em.
that
I was going to say, you just can't see them.
no
Singularity at the center.
Singularities. So at first there's two troubling things. There's a singularity at the middle, and then there's also a troubling point, at the Schwarzschild radius where things blow up and go to infinity.
Oh, did I know that?
You knew that.
What do you mean,
I
things blow up and go to infinity?
At the Schwarzschild
Meaning-
radius?
At the Schwarzschild radius, things freak out, right? There's you're dividing by zero, and time dilation goes to infinity, etc. At the Schwarzschild radius,
I must not
That-
know what the Schwarzschild radius is.
Yes,
and I
you
thought
do.
I did.
I thought that's
Short
the
shield.
point of no return.
Yeah, it's the point of no return, which
I
it's
didn't
also
know-
the point, right? Like if you were watching something go into it, that's where time would slow all the way down.
Isn't that what we
uh,
frequently call also the event horizon?
Yes, the event horizon is at a
At-
distance called the Schwarzschild radius away from the singularity.
I didn't realize that there were essentially. You're basically saying there's another singularity at the Schwarzschild radius.
Yes, there is.
mathematically.
Oh,
Mathematically.
what?
Yeah, things freak out there.
Mathematically.
I didn't appreciate that. I don't think I ever thought about
Yeah,
you
that.
yeah,
appreciate
there
it
is.
now?
But
Would you write an
that
ode
one,
to the Schwarzschild radius?
I may.
I think you should.
Ooh.
That may be on our next episode. An ode to the Schwarzschild radius.
well, the Schwarzschild radius, though, the one there at the event horizon has long been known not to really be a problem because you can change coordinates and smooth it out.
What a roller
You
coaster.
can go away with,
emotions.
with an appropriate change of coordinates. You can get rid of it. But we've never been able to get rid of this troubling singularity at the middle.
What are you're just
The middle
making
of
up
what?
math right now.
Yeah.
I'm very
I'm
confused.
not making up math.
The middle of the
When I talk about
the
singularities, I mean,
singularity.
what do you hate more than anything in when theorists say it's infinity, right? Infinities aren't real.
I hate it.
I like
I hate it.
infinities.
I hate
Well,
it.
it's
Some
a- it's a
infinities
beautiful-
are bigger than other infinities.
Yeah,
That's something that I really
That's
hate.
It's fun
hot
in
take.
math, but it's fun thing
It's
in math,
true.
but it's not fun in the real world. And so we don't like when physical theories give us infinities.
No.
I
and-
don't like it.
That's what a singularity is. And so
Yeah.
if we could get rid of that, that would be great. But we can't. For the solution for a spherically symmetric massive object in the universe, there's always a singularity right in the middle. But there's some folks who are desperately trying to get rid of that singularity by doing stupid things.
Oh,
And that's what this paper you kind of pointed me to was an attempt to do that. But they can only do it if the universe has 6 spatial dimensions or more.
okay. But don't a lot
And
of
come
people
on.
think it does?
Well, do they?
Which
Really?
what?
I don't know.
What are the
String-
dimensions? Up, down, charm.
Right. So, I mean,
Strange.
string theory has 10 or 11 dimensions, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And so if we live in a universe like that, of course, string theory, I mean,
You're a big
these
fan.
are all these.
I know you're a big
very-
fan of string theory.
I am not a big fan of string theory.
He
Hot
knows
take.
that. He knows that.
No, I'm not a fan of string theory. I think the people doing string theory are absolute geniuses and they're doing amazing things, but it's probably not real. We have no evidence that there exists more than 3 spatial
The most
dimensions.
backhanded compliment.
No,
That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
they're most of them are smarter than me. I couldn't. I mean, like, have you seen the math for this? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But anyway, the chances that we live in a universe where there's more than 3 spatial dimensions, I think, are lowish. If we do, then
Is it
maybe
more
we have a
likely that there are
solution.
6 than that there are 11?
I don't know. No, this was just like it works in any dimension more than 6
Okay.
or 6 or more.
6 or
So
more.
It would work in the 12 or 13 or whatever the hell.
So
the
they have
string
sort of
theory
like,
is.
it's kind to me that those sounds in some sense philosophically similar to the change of coordinate trick to make the one at the Schwarzschild radius go away. Just like,
Well,
we'll, do this. And then if things are like that, then we smooth it
no.
out.
But like the change of coordinate thing is just like on Earth, you have some coordinate system and you're like, what's the longitude at the North Pole or something like that? It freaks out. There is no longitude. It's not defined there. But you can redefine a different coordinate system where there is a nice pair
Okay.
of numbers for you at the North Pole.
All
That's-
the longitudes exist at the North Pole.
right.
Right.
Or none, or yeah, I guess. I mean, it's undefined what the actual. There's no single number, but you can a
Yep.
change of coordinates fixes that. You can do the same thing with the event horizon. You can
Okay.
fix the weird things, but you can't fix the weird thing at the middle. So we always thought that was an actual physical singularity, but that can't be.
Oh,
And so we're
I
trying to
get it.
figure out a way to get around that. But we can't figure. It's basically you can't get around that in 3 dimensions. But maybe if the universe has more dimensions, we can get
6
around
dimensions, you can get around it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like replace that singularity with a string.
something. I don't know.
Some-
Don't we live in the singularity? According
We
to
don't
an
live in
earlier
it.
podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Not in,
Oh,
we
yeah.
Oh,
live
no,
in-
we just live in the black
between-
hole,
In between
not
the two
in the black hole,
singularities.
Yeah.
Yeah, inside the event horizon, but safe distance away from the singularity at the center.
Once you're
Inside the Event Horizon
there
is
no
the name of my
safe.
album.
I like it.
Ooh.
Inside the event horizon. What's the name of your band?
DMDS.
I was gonna say that sounds like a K-pop band.
DMDS does, right?
Or a K rock band.
Yeah,
Ooh,
A rock.
Mhm.
That's what
Mine
we're
would
talking
be an
about.
A rock band.
Addy rock.
Or America.
Oh,
But yeah, Addy
okay.
Rock.
I like Addy Rock.
Be rock.
Rock. And it'd be made out of ice.
Would it be
Because
a
we just
mineral
learned
band?
that ice is just like rock.
Yeah, it'd be.
There's no point in making any distinction between ice and rock.
Yep.
That is,
Are
that's
you?
a genuine
you're going back
hot
around?
take. Huh?
You're going back around?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like, that is a genuine hot take, and I think you made a solid argument.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
Solid
Kudos.
as a ice block.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, on Titan.
yeah.
There you go.
All right. Cool.
We did it.
We did it. Well, speaking of K-Rock,
Nope.
We didn't answer
We have
this
to answer
trivia
our
question.
of course, gosh,
Oof, that was
Jeez.
close.
man alive.
Can you imagine?
Imagine how angry the listeners would have
Listeners
been.
would have been
What are the dimensions?
angrier than when Jim called them.
Yeah.
I did not call. Oh man. I'm just saying they're good nerds. They're not going out on dates on Friday night. They're hanging out at home doing integrals.
You're not helping yourself, man. You're not
Wow.
helping yourself or the
Wow.
show, because also I think you're wrong.
Also,
Two.
the
I'm
podcast
probably
releases on Wednesday, so they're listening on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, our listeners are a lot cooler than we are. This is
They
what this is
probably
what
are. That is
you're making.
absolutely
You're
the case.
making-
I am projecting.
You're demonstrating
is what I'm
that
doing.
right now.
You're making a
I'm
grave
projecting.
mistake by thinking that our listeners are like you or me.
Oh man.
What? He's disappointed.
So unhappy
You should
about
be.
that.
You should be happy that people that are more interesting than us are spending some time
That's
listening to us.
That would be
Thanks,
cool.
friends.
Thank you.
What are the dimensions of the largest refracting telescope ever made and the largest refracting telescope currently in service?
Are they different?
They are different.
Okay.
It's two different telescopes.
7.
I know a partial answer to this, so I'll wait. I'll answer last.
Okay.
I know the glass, like it's very hard to make glass that big.
Yep.
Yeah. How big?
Yeah. I'm like 3 meters. That might be too small. Maybe 5 meters.
5 meter diameter lens.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long is the tube?
Like 10 meters.
5 meter diameter lens, 10 meter long tube.
Sure.
Right.
I feel like those ratios are wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Go with your feelings, Addie.
I'm gonna say 7 meter diameter.
7 meter diameter
Because I
tube.
said 7, and like a 30 meter length.
Okay. So you're going with like 4 to 1
Yeah.
length to diameter.
Yeah.
And you went
I
with
feel like that's
2 to
short.
1 or something.
yeah.
Yeah. Jim, what do you think?
The biggest refracting telescope ever made was the Yerkes in the Yerkes Observatory. It's 40 inches diameter, and I'm going with inches.
Okay. That's acceptable.
40 inches, and the length I don't know, but I'm going to say it's long, like 100 feet.
Okay. So I think it's Yerkes.
Yerkes, I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's
Yeah.
Yerkes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think you pronounced the E.
Yes. So you're almost right, Jim.
Oh, we're so far off.
No.
That's the largest one currently in use.
Oh.
Oh, I thought that was the largest one ever built.
No.
Oh.
So the Yerkes
Stand a chance.
Observatory 40-inch,
40 inch.
you had the
wow.
number, great refractor, is the largest refracting telescope currently in use. It was built in the 1890s, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
40-inch diameter, so just over a meter. So much, much
Oh, man.
smaller
Yeah.
width than you two were guessing. The length, 62 feet. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
So
I was a little off.
the ratio there is about 3 to 1.
Okay.
Sorry, 20 to 1.
that's not-
20 to 1.
yeah.
20 to 1. I don't know why I said 3. 19.4 meter focal length and about a little over a 1 meter diameter.
You are using so many units right now.
Right. The largest one ever built. So
Okay.
Jim missed because he thought that was the largest one ever built.
I thought
you get
Jim's
half
wrong.
credit, Jim.
The,
Oh, okay.
the largest one ever
Okay.
built is the Great Paris Exhibition Telescope of 1900.
Okay.
Ooh.
So that would be like the World's Fair
Yep,
in
yep.
1900.
Yep.
The diameter of the lens was just a little bit bigger, 1.25 meters.
We were close.
Whoa.
Audrey and I
Okay.
were close.
Yeah, I knew it was
No,
like
you weren't.
meter
I know.
meter scale.
Yeah. We were in the meters.
Yeah.
And the length of the tube, 200 feet.
Woo, that's a big sucker.
Yeah.
What was it made out? How that's
It was a
Meter
bunch of
feet.
steel tubes joined together, and it was horizontal. So the telescope
Yeah.
did not move, and it looked at a
Yeah.
mirror, and the mirror looked at the sky.
Oh. So it was both a refractor and a
something
reflector.
Cute.
No, because the mirror is a flat plane mirror, something called a Foucault siderostat.
Okay.
And you would have that in front of this horizontal 200-foot-long tube,
Whoa.
and you would point it at the moon or stars, hence the name siderostat. And then the telescope would zoom in and take a magnified
Wow.
view of the mirror. And that would be your... And it was... So the fate of that telescope, it was like an exhibition telescope. Wasn't really... I don't think they thought that it was...
forever.
Or really to get anything scientific. But they did... There was an observation of the moon and I think sunspots or something with it.
Ooh,
But
fun.
after they tried to sell it, there were no takers.
Oh.
Dismantled. The lenses are still in Paris on display, and the rest of it
that's
is
fun.
Where
lost
are
to history.
they? I want to go see them.
Probably at the
Museum.
Observatory
There
de
is?
Paris.
Okay.
Okay.
Observatoire de Paris. Be my, I can't. It's at one of the observatories in Paris. I don't know which one exactly. So yeah. So Jim, you win the telescope trivia though,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
kudos for you.
Thank you.
Hot take. Jim knows all about telescopes.
Wow.
I know everything there is to
Take.
know.
I know everything about hot takes now.
Yep.
Speaking of K-Rock, while it may have felt like the downtime between the sound check and the main show at a Rolling Quartz concert, which I can tell you is a very long time.
It's like an infinity amount of time.
It's like an infinity. There's a singularity in there,
Yep.
and I was right on it. It was just another episode of Walkabout the Galaxy.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube. You can contact us at wtg@ucf.edu.
I'm sorry, I've lost it. Go ahead, read mine.
I'm so sorry. Our theme
I'm
music was...
sorry.
I'll try doing it in a Jim voice.
I got it. Our theme music was composed by Richard Jerusik. Production assistance is provided by Logan Basinger.
Thanks to our listeners in North Carolina and around the world. I'm Addie Dove.
I'm Jim Cooney.
I'm Audrey Martin.
And I'm Josh Caldwell. We're the astroquarks. Signing off until the next episode of Walkabout the Galaxy.
Hot take.
Nice.